There was no video last week. That's on me. But there's a few this week. Today, we're going to be ranking every MLB team at mid-season. My mind has been made up on a lot of teams. A couple ones I'm still a little bit shaky out of. The next video is, I'm going to be telling you if each team is a buyer or a seller. Subscribe and like so you don't miss it on that one. Let's get into this video. So the tiers, it's a little changed up from last year, but we did the same thing last year. Elite, the contenders, we got the solid, the below average, and yikes. So I'm going to start in this bottom tier. Now the teams that I am just saying yikes about, there's really only a few, and I'm going to probably group them together. The Royals are 1. The A's are 2. The Rockies are 3. And holy crow, I cannot believe I'm doing this, but the Cardinals, they are the definition of yikes this season. There's another team, could put below there. My camera is hiding them. I'm not going to, though, only because they won a series yesterday. Now, the 3 teams here, the Royals, A's, and Rockies, they're genuinely just bad. The rosters are terrible, especially the A's. The Cardinals are just strangely underperforming like crazy. There is one more team I forgot. There we go. Tigers as well. Same thing. Roster's not very good. The Cardinals are simply just not very good this year. I don't know why. Like, they are offensively good. The pitching is not good. Weird team, man. I mean, how they're probably going to be selling, and that's going to be the next video. Let's go to the teams that are below average this year. I am putting the Mets in that category. Call me biased, call me whatever. This team, go ahead, turn it around. Honestly, I wouldn't completely mind. Okay, I wouldn't like it, but you know what I mean. Like, having a turnaround like that, that'd be crazy. But man, this team's probably going to sell. That's what's crazy. I think the White Sox are in this tier as well. I think they're close to being just the most mediocre team in baseball, if I'm being honest. Natitude is going to go in this tier. This team can knock the ball around a little bit. That's why I like them. They've got some pitching performances. Josiah Gray's an all-star. Unfortunately, the Mariners are going to have to go into this one too. The Cubs are going to go here as well. The Padres, another disaster this year. And at the very top of this tier, I am putting the Rats. And let's start with them. Great start off to the year. They have been ice cold. They have gone on many losing streaks. This team is going back to what they thought they would be. It's sad to see it, but they are really falling apart majorly. They are climbing downhill very quickly, much like a lot of these other teams. The Mets, we already talked about them a little bit, probably going to be selling. I mean, this team is just lifeless. It's unbelievable. Last year to this year, it's like night and day. Buck Showalter was manager of the year last year, and he might be fired. It's crazy. The White Sox just can't get anything right ever. Lou Bob is great this year, but that's about it. They literally somehow ruined Tim Anderson. He's been awful. Nats, we already talked about them. They can hit a little bit. Mariners, I don't even know what the problem is. I think it's hitting. It's because a lot of their guys who are supposed to be guys are just not doing it. Like Julio's not had a good year. Maybe if Julio goes, so go the Mariners. I don't really know. The Cubs are closer to solid as well. They went and won 8 out of 10. They got swept by the Phillies right after that. It's like every time they get momentum, they just kind of lose it. And the Marcus Stroman thing, he might get dealt just because, like, what are they else going to do? Then the Padres, another team that's somehow going to be selling because they are a mess. Their thing is just they cannot hit flat out. So let's go to the solid tier. People are not going to like this, but the very first team, the very top of this tier, it is going to be the Angels because they're back to being middle of the pack again. I think everyone's been, disguised by Shohei's been going off. The team has not been doing well, especially the last couple weeks. So they've fallen back into this solid tier to me. I think that they are going to make a push for the playoffs, but they're going to need some help at the deadline. The Red Sox are going to go in this tier as well. This team can sneaky hit, but the pitching's not been there. Brian Bayo has been looking really good, though. I'm excited for that. But overall, the team can't really pitch very well. Very bottom of this tier, and I mean very bottom, the Twins. Hitting is another issue for them somehow. They can actually pitch this year for once, and now they can't hit, of course. Brewers are going to go into this tier. They can't seem to get their offense right either, and their pitching hasn't been as great this year. It was carrying them early on, but now it's really fallen off. They are in a deadlock race with the Reds, who have been surging, probably the biggest riser. They used to be a automatic yikes tier, but I'm gonna start giving them some love. Ellie is so awesome. I like some of their rookies. Spencer Steer, Andrew Abbott, I picked him up in fantasy to make a spot start. The guy has been killing it. The team is fun, exciting, and they can play. I hope to see them in the playoffs. I won't even lie. The Guardians are gonna go here. They took back first place, and I believe they're below 500. Pitching is fine. The offense is just simply not going to be there. I'm actually going to make a change. The Twins and the Guardians are both going below average. I just thought about it. It's just they just haven't done anything that's made me excited this year. And then at the very top of this tier, I'm going to put the Marlins. Still, I know it's unfair, but still not completely sold on them just because of their past. Weird that they're doing all this when Sandy's not been doing well and everybody else has. Now, their run differential is very bad. It's because they win a lot of really close games. It's because they don't score a lot of runs still. They're just getting ridiculous pitching performances. Yuri Perez has been unbelievable. Arguably could be in contention for the Cy Young. And then there's one team I'm thinking, no, we got to keep going with this tier. Giants are also going on the top of this tier. They've been good, and they are showing that they have more talent than we think they do. They've definitely been overperforming a little bit, I think, for their roster, but if they get a couple pieces of the deadline, dude, this team could be scary. And I think only because we have the Marlins there, I think it's only fair to put the Phillies the very top of this. They've been playing great baseball the last couple weeks. I believe they're 16-7 in their last 23. Playing much better baseball, just haven't been making much ground up because the other teams around them have also been playing pretty well. And the last team I'm going to put here, I'm going to put the Yankees in here as well. Without Judge, this team is just not the same. Now, the perfect game was pretty awesome, but they're just not the same without their lives, which is really strange. Okay, I'm sorry the formatting is looking really weird, but so when this says contender, now many of these teams are contenders, but this is like more like the ones who have really proven it to us this year that they are really going to be a World Series contender this year. Not quite the class of the MLB, but pretty close. Now I will say one more team. It is the Blue Jays. They're going to go at the towards the top of this list. I'm going to put them behind the Yanks. Not that any of the rankings inside the list actually matter. Their pitching's been good. It's been a lot of really I don't really know what's wrong with this team. Just haven't been getting as many wins as you'd think they should be. Now they're in a tough division. I think that putting them down here is fair. Now a few teams are going to go into this contender, but not quite the class of this year. There's actually only two teams. That's going to be the Astros and the Dodgers. Weird to say that, yes. Astros got off to a really slow start, and they picked it up a little bit, but still not completely themselves, and it's mostly because a lot of injuries have happened to them. Still without Jordan, as far as I know, but they've been good. They just haven't been great. A lot of guys have been slow starting for them, so I expect them to be there, obviously, like the ALCS runs through Houston until it doesn't, but slow start, and they're not the class this year. Neither are the Dodgers. They've been overtaken by another NL West team we'll get to shortly. They have not been bad. They've just been very top heavy, that's for sure. While they're getting some minor performances from guys like Jason Hayward, James Outman, guys like that, there is no question that has been JD Martinez, Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts. Really, mostly until recently, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith that have been carrying this team. A lot of pitching injuries, I know as well. But, man, I mean, their depth has been tested. They've still been good. They've got the depth. They just haven't been the class of the MLB this year like they normally are. And the final 5 teams that have been the class of the MLB, I am going to put these ones in order. I think the Braves have been the best team in baseball this year. I think the Rays are just behind them. The Orioles just behind them. The Rangers, and then the Snakes. That is a crazy one. The Snakes have been playing a great brand of baseball this year. Corbin Carroll has brought new life to that organization. Other young guys as well. Other hitters in the lineup are starting to realize what their role is. Like Ketel Marte has really strictly become a power hitter. This team plays great defense. They've got the pitching. Merrill Kelly's been great. Zach Gallen is elite. Back end of the bullpen has been great. Miguel Castro has been rejuvenated. This team can really play. The Rangers, it's like, yes, the lineup is terrifying top to bottom, but this pitching rotation is so great. Nathan Eovaldi just decided that he didn't want to let runs for like a 2-month period this year. This is without DeGrom. DeGrom's out with Tommy John, which has got to be frustrating, I know. Martin Perez has been great. John Gray, Andrew Heaney. This team's been getting the performances. They are great. The O's, another team that their lineup is just relentless. Adley, going to the home run derby, by the way, declared it today. Adley is so sick. Guys like Austin Hayes are good supplements. Anthony Santander, he's so good. We haven't even really seen Gunnar Henderson put it together fully yet. He's just been a great hitter against righties and just not against lefties. And the pitching has been good. That's the weird part. And Grayson Rodriguez has not been part of that equation, weirdly enough. And of course, the bullpen's been great because that's just become a characteristic of the Orioles now. Weirdly have been really, really good this year. And the Rays, who were the best team until probably like this week when it was confirmed that the Braves became the best team, they had their undefeated April where they just won they won their first 12 games and or it was like more than that. It was like their first 14. They barely lost in April. Continued in May. They're still, I think, got the most wins in baseball, if I'm not mistaken. But there's no doubt that the Braves just are showing that they're the best. And the Rays haven't even been that bad. They just have had some weird series where like they're losing to head-scratching teams. They're benching Wander Franco. They haven't been playing as great the last like few weeks as they had like, you know, the previous 2 months. That's what I'll say. The Braves decided the last like 3.5 weeks to get as hot as they possibly could. What did they go 21-6 in June? I mean, that team is something else. The organization is ridiculous. No matter how much I want to hate on them, it is unbelievable how good they are. All right, that is the list. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, remember to leave a like as well as subscribe. Go check out the Cards channel in the description below. I had a huge hit on there a few weeks ago. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Have a blessed one. Go Phils.